Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating a quiz for our website, and we have already created our design using HTML and CSS. We have three different screens for our quiz. The first one is the start button, so let me just remove the active class from here in the result. And we also have this overlay, so let's remove the opacity from overlay. Here I'll just type opacity 0. Right, so we have the start button over here, and when we click on the start button, we want to display the main quiz screen over here, which is a division with the class of quiz container. So we will add this active class to this quiz container. So this is how the quiz container will look. And after the quiz is done, we'll remove this quiz container from our screen, and then we'll display the quiz result container. So here we will add the active class. So this is how the quiz will work. So we'll do all of this using JavaScript. So let's get started. Now JavaScript can be a little bit intimidating for beginners. So I'll try to explain every single line of code, and I hope that you'll be able to understand everything. Now we are going to divide this JavaScript section into different videos. So in this first video, we will connect everything, and we'll make these buttons work. So when we click on the start quiz button, we should display this quiz container, and when the quiz is finished, we should display this result container. And when we click on the close button, everything should be hidden. And when we click on the retake quiz button, then the quiz should start once again. Now in this video, we're not going to add the questions dynamically. We'll just work with this question that we have over here. Later I'll show you how to add our own questions and display them dynamically on the screen. So let's start by adding our main.js file to our HTML file. So we have already linked our script file. So here we can see we have the script tag, and we have the source main.js file. So let's go to our main.js file, and let's start writing our JavaScript. Now before getting started with the JavaScript, we can see that our start button doesn't have the hover effect. So as of now, we cannot interact with this start button. So the reason for that is we have this quiz overlay over here inside our HTML, and it is on top of this start button. So let's go over here to our CSS, and in the quiz overlay, we have already set the opacity to 0. We'll also have to set the pointer events to none so that we can interact with the other elements. So now we can see that when we hover over this, we have the interaction. I will also add an active class to the quiz overlay. So here we will type quiz overlay.active, just like we did with the quiz result and the quiz container. So here we will set the opacity to 1 and pointer events to auto, and we'll also set a transition of all to 400 milliseconds. Alright, now let's go back to our JavaScript, and we need to reference all the elements from our HTML. So first of all, let's reference this start button from here. So in our HTML, we can see that for the start button, we have this button with the class of quiz button. Now we have a quiz button over here, and we also have a quiz button for the retake quiz. So we'll also create one more class for this. So we'll type start quiz btn, and we'll reference this class from here. So let's go to our main.js file, and we'll create a constant, and we'll type start quiz btn, and we'll set it to document dot query selector, and here we'll type dot start quiz btn. Now we have a reference for the start quiz button. Now when we click on the start quiz button, we want to display the quiz container. So let's have a reference for that as well. So if you go to our HTML, we can see that for the quiz container, we have a division with the class of quiz container. So let's reference that over here. We'll type const quiz container equals document dot query selector and dot quiz container. Now when we click on this start button, we want to display the quiz container. So let's add an event listener for the start quiz button. So we'll add a comment. We will type start button, and here we'll type start quiz button dot add event listener. So using event listeners, we can listen to different events on our screen and perform different actions depending on the event. So for our event, we will type click. So we want to execute something when we click on the start quiz button. And the next argument we want over here is a function. So I'll just create an arrow function, which is a new way of creating functions. So I'll just open and close parentheses because we don't have any arguments for a function. So I'll just keep this empty, and here I will just type equals greater than, and in curly brackets let's add our functionality. So we want to add the active class to the quiz container. So let's type quiz container dot class list dot add, and here we'll type active. So now when we click on the start quiz button, we will add the active class to the quiz container. So let's click on the start quiz button and let's see whether it happens. And we can see that the quiz container is being displayed. Now it would look better if we have some animation when we display the quiz container. So let's go back to our style.css and let's go to the quiz container. And here for the top we will type negative 100%. And when we add the active class, we will set the top to 50%. And we'll also add a transition for smooth animation, all to 400 milliseconds. Alright, so let's test it once more. We'll refresh our page. Let's click on the start quiz button, and our quiz is displayed with the animation. Alright, now the next thing we'll do is when we click on the next button, we will display the result. Now we don't always want to have the next button pointing to the result, but since now we don't have all the questions for our quiz, I'll just connect this next button to our result. So let's reference these elements. We have the next button and the quiz result container. So if you go to our HTML, we can see we have this button with the class of next btn, and for the result we have this division with the class of quiz result container. So let's add both of these to our JavaScript. So let's type const next btn equals document dot query selector dot next btn, and for the quiz result container we'll just type const quiz result container equals document dot query selector quiz result container. Right, now let's write the functionality for the next button. So we'll just add a comment. We'll type next button, and here we'll type next btn dot add event listener click, and we'll create a function, and here we will type quiz result container dot class list dot add, and we will add the active class over here. So let's test it out. Let's click on the start quiz button, and we have this quiz, and when we click on the next button we have the result. Now when we have the result, we want to hide this quiz screen from here. So here we'll also type quiz container class list remove active. So now when we start quiz and when we click on the next button, the quiz screen goes away and we have the result. Now we also need to add the overlay for our quiz. So here in our HTML we can see that we have this division with the class of quiz overlay. So let's reference that over here. Here we'll type const quiz overlay document dot query selector quiz overlay, and when we start the quiz we also want to display the quiz overlay. So we'll just type quiz overlay dot class list dot add, and we'll type active. So we are adding all these active classes which we had added in our style.css. So here we can see for the quiz overlay we have this active class. So for the active class we have the opacity of 1 and pointer events to auto. So now let's click on the start button, and now we have the overlay and also the quiz screen, and when we click on the next button the quiz screen goes away and we have the result. Now when we click on the retake quiz button, we want this result to go away and we want the quiz screen to be displayed once more. So let's reference the retake quiz button, and we also have this close button over here. So let's reference both of these buttons. So if you go to our index.html, we have this button with the class of quiz close button, and then we have this retake quiz button. We'll also add one more class. We'll just type retake quiz btn. So let's reference them in our JavaScript, quiz close button and retake quiz button. So here we'll type const quiz close btn document dot query selector quiz close btn, and then we have retake quiz btn equals document dot query selector dot retake quiz btn. Now when we click on the close button, we want to remove the active class from all the elements. So let's type close button quiz close button dot add event listener, click, and in the function we will type quiz result container class list dot remove active, and we also want to remove the active class from quiz container dot class list dot remove active, and we also want to remove the active class from the overlay. So we'll just type quiz overlay dot class list dot remove active, and let's also write the code for the retake quiz button. So we'll just type retake button, and here we'll type retake quiz button dot add event listener, click, and we'll create a function. And when we click on the retake quiz button, we want to display the quiz screen and we want to hide the result. So we'll type quiz result container dot class list dot remove active, and we'll type quiz container dot class list dot add active. Right, now let's see whether everything is working all right. Let's refresh our page and let's click on the start quiz button, and we have the quiz displayed over here. Let's click on the next button and we have the result displayed over here. Let's click on the retake quiz button and the result goes away and we have this quiz. And if we click on the close button, everything is closed and we have the start quiz button over here. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. We have connected all our buttons in our quiz. In the next video we'll see how to display the questions and how to loop through different questions in our quiz. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.